prototypes, alphas, and betas. Every game goes through these phases during development, but the only thing we usually get to see is the final build when it is released to the public. All prior builds are usually kept behind closed doors, never meant to be seen, let alone played by the public. Which is why development builds are usually such a fascinating topic to me. It feels like taking a look behind the forbidden curtain of your favorite games. And it just so happens that one of my favorite racing games from my childhood, Gran Turismo 3, actually has a pretty well documented development history, dating back to even before I was born. And so I decided to take a look at every publicly known build of Gran Turismo 3, even being able to play some of them myself. So apparently there's like a whole bunch of demos for Gran Turismo 3. I am sure probably most of you probably aren't even aware of the full extent of them. Denkai has done a good job archiving most of them. I think this must be the first version of Gran Turismo 3 that ever existed, which is the GT 2000 Tokyo Games Show 1999 version from September 1999. So this one actually came out before I was born. This one's not available. No one has found it, or at least dumped it online. So I guess we can just watch the video here. Oh yeah, that's old. Dude, there isn't even like proper there isn't even proper footage of this. Yeah, there you go. This must have been one of the first times you actually saw something even remotely relating to a new Gran Turismo at the time. And I can honestly say this looks a lot more like Gran Turismo 2. Like the resolution kind of tells me, okay, maybe PlayStation 2. Graphics, however, look more like PlayStation 1. It's hard to tell with this one. We're gonna check out the Gran Turismo 2000 first, I suppose, and then we're just gonna work our way down. This is the first one that I do have, and apparently this demo has already been memed into oblivion. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what this is. It even has retro achievements. Ah yeah, this song. Of course. Is this the game where the Yellow Evo meme originated from? There it is! Okay, I probably should have played all of this in 4x3 because, yeah, 16:9 wasn't really a standard back then, but what are you gonna do? The game is definitely stretched. That's just something we'll have to deal with. Ah, okay. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Of course. You can tell though, like, the model is way lower quality than the Gran Turismo 3 car models. Racing or drift? Yeah, true. Gran Turismo 3 had like these two handling models. I still, to this day, have no idea what the difference is. But I guess we can just try out both. Always have vibration on chat. Always. Taste no issue. Whoa! Okay. Wow, the analog stick isn't even working. You have to actually play this classic style. You have to accelerate with X and steer with the D-pad. So we are in Seattle, and it looks way different. This is like, you can still identify this being Seattle, but yeah, it's clearly unfinished. There's clearly a lot of detail missing. So we have two cameras. And also in terms of handling, this feels a lot more like Gran Turismo 2, where the cars generally feel a little bit driftier and a bit snappier, if you will. Dude, look at this, man. It's so weird. Like, I spend way too much time in my life with Gran Turismo 3 to the point where I have regular burnouts of the game. So seeing this is super bizarre. It's just this like weird alternative universe version of Seattle. It feels weird. All right, you won. Cool. And game is over because we ran out of time. All right, well, there you have it, I guess. This was basically like one of the first things that existed for the PlayStation 2, right? I think back then this must have been pretty impressive. But I also do think that there were a lot of improvements going from this to the final release version of Gran Turismo 3. This still looks a lot more basic, I guess you could say. Let's try another run. I can't pick any other cars. I can only pick the Zevo here. Let's try the drift handling. We can also try manual. You know what? I'll try manual. Just for the sake of it. Because I know I'll get another achievement for it. Okay, I have no idea how to shift. I'm guessing the bumpers? We'll see. Ooh, oh, Jesus Christ. How do you shift? How the fuck do you shift? You shift up with triangle. Oh my god, this is so fucked up. I can't play with. Okay, we're not doing manual. We are not doing manual. It might be my own control scheme. We are not doing manual. That is absolutely not gonna happen. Triggers. It doesn't work. I have my own control config. You know what? You know what happened here? I shifted up by pressing the right analog stick down, and then vice versa. That just does not work. So I'm trying to see if I can feel any kind of difference with the drift handling. Okay, maybe a little bit. I don't think I was able to do that before. Oh yeah. This is definitely different. The rear slides out way more. But I'm just not sure why you would use this. I remember Gran Turismo 3, at least in the arcade mode, had this too. But I'm not sure why. I guess for drifting. But what's the point here, I guess? Oh boy. Deja vu. The thing's actually very easy. So yeah, in terms of handling, this has almost nothing to do with realism, I would say. Sure enough, I was also slower on drift handling, unsurprisingly. I can't say I'm a fan. I can't say I'm a fan. But I guess that already covers it for GT 2000. It's one track with one car. And that's kind of it, I guess. So next we have the E3 build, which I doubt was any different. Actually, it looks like you can... Look at that. So the E3 build actually had... I think this is Laguna Seca, right? And you actually had some different cars here too. Comic Sans down below, by the way. And then you have Settle again, I guess. I think they already improved the track here in the E3 build. I might be wrong here, but I think there's already like a little bit more detail here. Physics and handling. This already looks a lot more like Gran Turismo 3, the handling. So I think between the I guess, public version and the E3 build, seems like there's already quite a bunch of differences here. Interesting. Sadly, never made public. This one I did get public. So this is the GT3 Replay Theater Autoback 7, whatever that means. So this one came out in February 2000. This one was a couple months later. I assume this might just be like, well, a replay mode, if you will. But let's see, maybe we can spot something interesting. But there you go, this is Trial Mountain. This looks a lot closer to the final version, I think. We still have this fucking song going. They really love that song. So all you do in this is basically watch preset gameplay, preset replays. I don't think that really qualifies as a game at that point anymore. The glow up is pretty impressive, I will say, between GT 2000 and this. You can tell the car models look a lot better. Stuff like reflections, lighting looks a lot better. Couldn't even notice any differences in the track here, like on Trial Mountain. So pretty solid. The curbs. Okay, I wonder what happens if the replay runs out. Let's speed it up. Neum. See what happens at the end. I don't know how many laps this has. Okay, it just ends. It just ends. Okay, are there any other? Like, it doesn't even have a menu. You just press the button and the replay starts. Is there another replay or is it just the same one? Oh, what the? Yeah, I don't think that's right. Dude, I can't back out. We have to look at this. Look at it! Alright, I guess no more replays for us. Great game, Gran Turismo, just like I remember it.
Come on down and get you a hot steaming pile of Gran Turismo. We serve it up home style, just like Kaz used to make.
So what about this here? This one we're missing entirely. The GT3 store trial disc Autobacks. This one was actually just like a week later. A little bit more than a week after. I assume it might be the exact same. This one doesn't even have a video though. Super strange. Okay, and then we have the GT3 Replay Theater. Like a more complete version of it, I guess. Yeah, that very much looks like the same menu as before. If I press start, another replay should start. Is it the same one as before? Yesn't. It basically is, but we're following a different car this time. I can shift camera angles. I couldn't do that in the previous one. And I can even switch to cars. I mean, maybe I could before and I just didn't try it out. But it's very much the same. But yeah, I mean, these two came out within a week of each other. I'd expect it to be pretty much the same. Kind of weird how these were like manufactured as different things when they are pretty much the same. Must have been quite a blue ball though to basically look at this and be like, man, I can't play this, you know? I guess we're just moving on to the next one then. Next up we had the GT3 Nets Toyota dealership demo. Ooh. Yeah, that menu looks a lot more familiar. I'm very close, not exactly the same, but it's very close to the arcade mode car selection menu in Gran Turismo 3. And the menus are different though. Now you look at the style, I think the style is completely different. Oh, look at this, man. That is the Super Speedway. It looks way different. The grandstands here are way bigger than in the release version. Which is basically how it was in the older Gran Turismos. And honestly, I preferred this. Like, I preferred how this looked. Like, this looks so much more alive. So much more, like, grandiose, if you will. And I kind of wish they would have kept the track like this. Because in the base game, like in the final game, it's kind of boring. Bit of shadows here. I think this looks so much better. It's just so much more interesting. There we go, try on. Obviously, like, the entire HUD is different. But it looks fairly similar to the replay theater thing. We, of course, use the fucking pink bits. Rome. Yeah, these are pretty close to final. Yeah, they just keep on reusing the song. Okay, but this is where we can get back to playing. GT3 NTSC demo. So this was like the first proper full demo that they released. Everything up until this point was only little glimpses and prototypes, if you will. And this is like the first proper demo that they released. It's somewhat similar to the arcade modes car section, but I think the art style is actually slightly different, which I find pretty interesting. Okay, those are the 3 cars that we have. The NSX, the Cobra, which is the GOAT in the final game. You can zoom in on the cars. Alright, wow. I mean, honestly, this was obviously a bit of a no-brainer to have this kind of function. Just to show how detailed the car models are. Or at least were back then. Obviously, nowadays they're not as detailed anymore. But this is something you can't do in the final release, I think. Just zoom in here. Okay, let's try to use the NSX first. Still have that drift handling, which this time around I am not going to use. The jingle is different. The race star jingle is different. Alright, there we go. Whoa, this car has a lot of grip. Yeah, the HUD is definitely different. We have licensed music now. Okay. Alright. So it's been a little while since I played Gran Turismo 3. And in Gran Turismo 3, I'm not super familiar with proper racing cars, but this feels a little bit faster. It feels a little bit faster, a little bit grippier. Yeah, I don't think you can grip this hard through corners in the original. But other than that, in terms of track, this looks pretty much the same. Let's see, can we do the Yeet chicane? Oh, you actually get a lot. I think you get more slowdown when you go off track. Usually I can carry a lot more speed through there. Might just be due to the car, but now the analog stick is working. Hallelujah. Congratulations, Polyphony. I think the car is in the... oh. Can you even complete 2 laps with this time limit? Let's try another car. Maybe using a different car will put us on a different map. It is Ultramon. Okay. I find it interesting that on the track map there is this arrow that tells you the direction of the track. I wonder why they scrapped that. I mean, it's not super necessary, if you ask me. Maybe that's why. Like, you really don't need that. But yeah, there's no way to win these races if the time limit just ends the race. before it can even finish, you know? Just drive faster. How did I not think about that? Alright, but this time we're at least ahead when the timer goes up. But I don't think anything's gonna happen. Yeah, it just kicks you out. So I guess now we can just move on. Official PlayStation 2 Magazine Demo 5. So these were basically European, I think. Oh wow, what the fuck is this? Oh wow, there's actually more stuff here. There's all kinds of game demos here. The GT3 team wishes you to understand that the code which you are about to experience is work in progress and far from the final version. Okay. Funny that they refer to this as code. We do get different cars here. Yeah, you can tell. 2 European cars. That's probably not a coincidence. Now we actually have Laguna Seca too. So the PAL people, the Europeans, they actually had a little bit more to work with. Okay, let's go to Laguna Seca this time then. I swear. Oh my god. I just want to know one thing. Is it gonna be the GT2000 theme again? Oh, it is. Oh, fuck's sake. Let's try this again. Yeah, okay, this demo is just borked, either on the emulator or something else. Satch, we'd like to see Laguna Seca, but I think for the most part, it's pretty much the same demo. Preview version NTSC GT3 A-Spec. This was on the same day as release? A build of GT3 A-Spec dated a day before the final NTSC J retail. Unless different mastering, content-wise, it appears identical. So is this just a base game? Nah, no way. That graphic is new. Look at that one down there. Is that intentional? It looks kind of cool, actually. Hey, we have Smoky Mountain. Wait a minute. Why is Smoky Mountain Swiss? Swiss Alps. Hold on a minute. That is cursed. So you're telling me Swiss Alps used to be Smoky Mountain South? Hey, don't give me... Fuck off. Okay, then we have the Super Speedway. Seattle. Okay, so we have 4 tracks here. What is this cursed shit? Okay, we have a lot more cars to play with here too. This definitely seems to be the most extensive of the demos we've seen so far. Which I guess makes sense. It's so different, like the art style and everything. Look at all these cars. Roadster RS. Okay, I want to see Smoky Mountain South. It looks different though. Does this track look slightly different? Something feels off here. Different time of day. Yeah, that's probably it. And that's probably why this felt a little bit different to me. We still have this fucking song. I'm wondering if the rally physics are any different. The rally physics in this game were actually fairly grippy, but you could still slide out. And I think it feels very similar. The collision with cars sounds and feels a little bit different. I think the rally physics are different. You can't get those super clean drifts. The cars, they stay a little bit more planted. This is just strange to me. As I said earlier, like it feels like an alternative universe version of this game that I played over and over and over again. Oh shit, we're gonna run out of time. I forgot there's another time limit. I feel like this one you might just barely be able to beat before the time is over. So let's try the Supra again. Yeah, that was Supra. Yeah, this looks so much better. That is such a sad change that they made. It's such a visually more interesting track. Feels like they just removed a whole bunch of stuff. And this race we are actually going to finish for once. And yeah, the cars are definitely still a lot grippier. You can tell, like, you cannot pull this much speed through this corner usually. Damn it! They definitely turned on the grip. That's GT2. That is GT2, 100%. So they must have changed up Super Speedway super last minute. There must have been a last minute change. Which is really unfortunate. Maybe it was because of hardware? This is Seattle pretty much how I remember it. And if you go back to when we played GT2000 earlier, it looks significantly better. This song is gonna haunt my dreams tonight. And we're gonna pretty much run out of time again. F. I find these graphics really cool, to be honest. Like the core selection. But I think I do like what they had in the final game a little bit better. Where you had like, I don't know, these pseudo replays, if you will. Definitely the most extensive demo, the Japanese one. But let's look at the final game just for comparison's sake. You can tell, like, in terms of art style, it has changed. These replays here that I talked about, I do think this was probably for the better. I think this looks a little bit cooler because that way you kind of get like a nice little look at, you know, what it's like to drive on these tracks here. And yeah, look at that, Swiss Alps, not Smoky Mountains South, but Swiss Alps. I think I was using this car on this track earlier, so let's use it again. And there you go. There you have the final game. Yeah, it's a looker. I will still say, for a game from this time, it is a looker. But yeah, you can tell how much they downgraded the track. It just feels less grandiose. I don't know. The shaded section here is also gone. And this I was basically able to take full out in the prior demo. Actually, you still can. Look at that. Maybe I just underestimated how much grip you have in this game. I just kind of forgot. But it does feel a little bit better. The car takes a little bit longer to turn fully, I think. Which does feel a little bit more natural, and it leads to less jittery, less janky steering. Which I think in general is a pretty good thing. Also, jingles have changed, obviously. They don't just reuse the Gran Turismo 2 jingles, of course. So I did feel like the rally physics were way too grippy in the demo. And you can tell the time of day has definitely changed ever so slightly. Like the entire track looks a little bit different. You can see the tail is already sliding out a lot more from these slight turns here. This feels much better. I think they really did well on the rally physics in this game. And it seems like also there were some last minute changes made in terms of the physics. Like this I couldn't do in the demo. This right here. This I was 100% not able to do. I mean, you have the Michelin man here now. That's a clear win for me. But yeah, there you go. GT3, both rally and regular racing. That pretty much about covers it. Fairly extensive, like you don't really see many games having like such a long history of demos. Look at this, it's at least 10 different demos here. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, this game has received a really nice glow up over the years that they worked on it for sure.